Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to another Palaview Market Research video. Today, we're going to be continuing our discussion of the meta skill sets. And a meta skill set, if you haven't seen one of these videos before, is a skill that applies to all domains, all specializations. It doesn't matter if you're an artist or a day trader or a sculptor, a teacher. It doesn't matter what your domain of expertise is in. These skills are meta skills. They apply to you no matter what you do. Now, in the last two videos, we discussed storytelling as a skill set and autodidacticism. Autodidacticism is just a fancy word basically describing the skill of self learning. So, building on top of those ideas, we have the skill of telling stories that are persuasive and compelling to others, that are inclusive to others. And then with autodidacticism, we have the skill of being able to teach yourself what you need to learn and having just the confidence to learn the things you need to learn when you need to learn them, right? Now, in today's video, we're going to be discussing time perception, how you perceive time and how your goals are set within the time frames that you define is going to have a massive impact on you as an entrepreneur, a trader, or whatever it is you do in your life. Okay. Now, this is obviously a market research channel. So I'm going to be framing this discussion towards entrepreneurship and just the markets in general. Okay. Now, when you are engaging in, like, say, a business venture, a speculation, right? You are likely thinking in what is considered short term. You're thinking in less than a year, right? But I guarantee you, and well, this is not really an opinion, the people who have the biggest goals, the people who are able to actually penetrate into the future with their vision and make it manifest, are the people who think long term. They don't think in terms of this year or next year or this month or this week, especially. They think in terms of decades. Okay. They're like, they really think in terms of what can I achieve over this next 10-year period. And then you could argue that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they think actually full blown in terms of centuries now, right? With the projects that they work on, Tesla, Blue Origin, SpaceX, Amazon. Amazon is a company that will be here a long time after Jeff Bezos dies, okay? And that is by design. These things don't happen by accident. So, that is one element of time perception. It's how how you relate time to your goals and the time frame that you allow your goals to manifest, okay? The best books that have ever been written weren't written over a 3 to 4 month period, right? They were written over the course of multiple decades, right? That's why Marcus Aurelius's book is so continues to be read today when he was, just an emperor of Greece, right? He had this life experience of being emperor, and that led to him, and he journaled daily and all these things, right? He had a lifetime's worth of knowledge and effort because he journaled, right? So he had a record of his thoughts on every given day, pretty much. And so he was able to take in each little bit of each little piece, right? He was able to extract the best ideas, and that is why these things continue to penetrate into the future. You're going to keep hearing me say penetrate into the future, because if you are able to think through a long-term perspective, then your ideas will have a lasting value, okay? Now, the next thing I want you guys to think about is just like in the context of your day to day, right? When we have something we're pursuing, when we have a goal that is a daily task related goal, right? If you are putting this perception of, oh, well, I spent 2 hours on this today. Oh, well, I put 3 hours into this today. I'm gonna block schedule my day. Those the people who I know who are like really block scheduling their days. It's kind of like, those bell curve memes where there's like the guy at the top, right? There's like the bell curve, right? And then there's the below average intelligence, and then the super high IQ, and then the person who's like angry in the middle, who's like the median IQ person, right? that very, like, they have a meme like associated with that and calendars, and like, oh well, here's my Calendly link, put it in the calendar, like that's the middle person, and then on the ends is just text me, just DM me, right? Things should take as long as they need to take until they're done. There's no virtue in applying a high workload to an idea if you do not have a result at the end of it. So many of us are like, oh, well, like, I'm here in Puerto Rico. People are like constantly like trying to learn Spanish on these little apps that clearly get no one anywhere, except for ChatGPT is pretty cool for learning a new language. Be that as it may, people will be like, "Oh, well, I've spent an hour a day for the last 2 years on Duolingo." And I'm like, "Well, what? I don't see you speak Spanish, right?" So people will like use time to check off a box of getting closer to, as if they're getting closer to a goal. So don't use time as like a checkpoint in a video game, right? You want the actual checkpoint to be the result. Time is just an illusion. And if you haven't gone on like long camping expeditions, if you haven't gotten in nature for long periods of time, you probably haven't experienced this so much for yourself, or like long runs, like marathon runs, things like that. But as someone who's done all those things, I can tell you that time and how you perceive it is very strange. And our ability as human beings to understand what time is and how it actually plays into our lives is, it's just a total crapshoot. So you want to just not think about time at all. And you never want to tether your goal, tether an achievement, tether the skill progression towards something by the amount of hours you dedicate towards it. You need to create micro little things. Like, so instead of trying to get to from $0 a month if you're starting a business to, you know, $50,000 a month, maybe try to go from 0 to $500 a month to, or $1,000 a month. Like, I'm very into and a big advocate of people just creating these micro goals. And this can apply to like your fitness, for example, right? If you are in the gym an hour a day, I mean, how many people do you know who spend an hour a day in the gym and they look exactly the same as 2 years ago, right? It's because life is not a matter of time application, it is a matter of exertion. And that's really the core of what today's discussion is. So you can think about time awareness, the awareness of time as and breaking down the way that you associate time and your goals, you can associate that with the importance of exertion, because once you really value your ability to exert yourself and to apply yourself, right, into each individual exercise when you're in the gym, into each individual word you're writing when you're writing, if you're able to really engage, that's what you want to be measuring. You don't want to be measuring your ability, your like the time you're able to focus on things or the time you've committed to certain things. You want to measure the intensity of your exertion into the work you are applying yourself to. So exertion is something you're going to hear me talk about a lot. I'm a huge advocate of everyone forgetting about everything else related to like self-improvement and these things, right? Into skill development, and just work on exerting yourself into things. Are you tired? Are you are you going to fall asleep? Right? When I like people ask me, right? Like, what's your split? Right? They ask me like, "Oh, do you go into the gym and you do chest then triceps today?" And no. The answer's no. No. And I've got a physique that's very worthy to be proud of, one could say. So, what I'm really getting at is if you aren't going into the things you're doing, right? Like, I don't have a routine, right? I don't go to the gym. I don't do bicep curls. And then, like, I kind of do, but I follow my intuition. I go through my body and I feel, what areas are feeling weaker, what areas are feeling sore, and what areas do I not feel a great mind body muscle connection with. And then I go to war. I go until I literally need to throw up. Okay. I go until my demons respect me enough, right? So remove this need to this is this like 'cause so many of us do this, and I used to do this, but like where we block our calendars and we say, oh well, I should feel good about myself because I spent an hour and a half reading today. Results matter. You need to have something to something that shows the work that you put in, right? You need to exert yourself into the things that you spend time on. And how you spend time, I mean, isn't that an amazing bit of language right there? Spending time. Time is a resource. So you need to be aware of time. Okay? And it's not the most valuable resource like I've talked about in previous episodes. The most important, the most valuable resource is your attention and your focus. Because all of us know we don't have unlimited focus during a 24-hour period of the day. We have 24 hours every day, but we don't get 24 hours of attention, of our ability to exert ourselves into our work. So you need to exert yourself and for basically allow time to dissolve from your life. You should be waking up with the sun, falling asleep with the sun if you're living a sober, healthy lifestyle. And if you aren't living a sober, healthy lifestyle, then quite frankly, you probably value something else over your goals. And that's okay. It really is. Especially because, not all of us are the same season of life, right? Some of us are prioritizing fun for certain periods of our life, and hopefully those don't last too long, or else you're gonna be in trouble. So, let me think if there's any other final thoughts I have on this topic. Because time is very, very fickle. It's not something it's not like a meaty thing. You want to base your value off of things that are tangible. The amount of hours committed to certain tasks does not, like, that's why you have to overcome, like, at everyone eventually realizes at some point in their career, you can't get paid by the hour, right? That's like everyone who does that has an owner, right? If you have an owner, you're not doing too great, okay? And yes, athletes included. That's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will pick it up tomorrow. Thank you guys.